you have a lot there. I know I asked you a lot of questions and I remember some of them, but not all of them. Maybe you have things written down with answers. I don't know.
Yeah, so I just sort of plugged it into my head. Okay, that one, that one, that one, and that one.
I know these. I had the same questions one day.
Well, so what I thought I'd do to start off is just to come back to purpose. Like that's the question that's always asked through Course in Miracles. What's it for, right? So for me, all this information gathering that I went through actually ended up having a purpose when I started to realize this was not for the sake of building intellectual capacity or building, a knowledge base or any of that. It was really for direction to getting out of Dodge, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Exiting the system, so to speak.
yeah, yeah. That's where I'm at.
And so when I put that sort of framing around it, it made it a lot easier, to be honest. Um,
Mm,
so I'm always upfront when I'm sort of talking to people about what's sort of coming out. I always say there's an agenda, right? And the agenda is to get to this destination over here, which is, you know,
Hopefully, it's better than this one.
well, it's about the agenda is about remembering who I am,
Oh, yeah, right. Yes, 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 yes. That
right?
too. That too. Yes. Yeah. What am I? Why did I come here? Really, really
Yes.
not, you know.
And so the knowledge and the learning and the encountering of these different things is really just the convincing job. That's
Hmm.
all it's all. Oh, I understand that now. So
Okay.
that's why I am who I am. Right?
Right. Yeah. I guess I kind of feel like Jesus spoke in parables
Mm.
and it's very hard to understand. Like I said, I was watching that John,
Yeah.
it was the whole book of John in a movie form, which was kind of cool. That's how I like to learn, really.
So
It's
so just that it's brilliant. What I find about your questions, it's almost like they pick on the exact points that need to be addressed for your journey, right?
so happy.
And kind of what I see when I hear you ask those questions, I see a very clear path, right,
Yeah,
to your
good.
destination.
Yay.
Um, maybe that's why I'm here speaking to you
Yeah.
because I get to see it. I get to witness it,
Yeah. Ooh.
and so I'm quite sort of blown away by the privilege, if you like, of being able to answer these questions for you to an extent. I'm going to say,
Yeah.
stuff I'm going to say that you go, okay, what the hell? But it's what I find is that it just comes out. I have no pre-thought or no idea of the formulation of what comes out. It just comes out, right?
Right. Right. Yeah, well, the Holy Spirit is speaking through you.
Yeah, that's how I see it. So I
Yeah.
try not I try not to get in the way.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. That's great. Right. If we can learn that and conquer that, that's awesome.
Yeah, so much of the stuff that you asked in your little message, both of them, all three of them, um, it just set off things in my mind. I thought, oh yeah, yeah, that bit there, that bit there, that bit there, that bit there. Let's go and talk about those things, right? John is a great starting point for the conversation because it's actually got everything packed in there, right?
Okay. Yeah, it does. It does. It's amazing that that came up on my out. Like I literally was getting ready to turn the TV off and go to bed. I was like, it was like midnight, and I was like, I have to go to sleep. Yeah, and I couldn't sleep. I was like this, and usually 9:30, I'm out, and I couldn't sleep, and all of this stuff was going, and then I had, like I said, Joel Goldsmith is usually on, and then I was getting ready to turn it off, and it went on to the book of John, and I'm like, oh, okay, and it was like God put it there.
Yes, yeah,
You
absolutely.
know what I mean?
Totally, totally
Yeah,
agree. Totally
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Everything has been given for you, right?
Yep.
It's for you,
Because
right?
I was up till 2 a.m. and I said, Jesus, Holy Spirit, I said, please help me to go to sleep and help me to wake up tomorrow morning because I had to be at work. You know, I had to
Mm.
get up at 6. I got 5 dogs here I'm taking care of. Had to, take care of myself, take care of them, and get myself to work by 9. So I set my alarm for 5 something. It was like, I don't know, 5 minutes to 6 o'clock or whatever. Yeah, I got up. I felt good. I felt like I had a full night's sleep. I couldn't believe it. 3, 4, 5. I only slept for 4 hours.
Well, first thing to say is congratulations, and huge commendation to you, Francine, for listening.
Yeah,
You're listening,
yeah.
and in my framework, everything is in the listening.
Yes.
Right? So
Yeah.
you listen, and that's why Jesus said, "Let he who has ears listen." So
Yeah.
it's listening with discernment. It's listening actually to the whispers. Again, in my framework, it's listening to the whispers coming from spirit,
Right.
the guidance. It'll
Yeah.
keep coming. It'll keep
The
coming.
little cues. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So um, reading through John and touching on the points that you raised and mentioned. Um, First one that sort of jumps out for me is Jesus in the temple, um, throwing out the money changers. That was a really big deal for me, that one.
Okay.
Really big deal. Because when you read that passage in John, you get to understand who Jesus really, really was and what the temple was,
The
right?
temple is the body, right?
Well, for the Jews at the time, the temple was
Okay.
a physical place
Right.
they related to and they treated as their fortress, their
Mm-hmm.
symbol of being right,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
effectively being right with God,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it was the place where they offered up all their sacrifices, right?
Well, their God was Yahweh, right? From the
Correct.
first Bible. So
Yeah.
we know that that's the false God.
So symbol, right? This is the way that I sort of look at it.
Symbol. Okay.
It's all
Yeah.
symbols, right?
Okay.
Um, you could say a symbol of the demiurge, but that's just a particular framing so that you can make the distinction between all the stuff from the Old Testament and Jesus' new teachings, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it allows you to see the contrast between the two. That's the only purpose for making that judgment, that discernment, is to get the distinction between, oh, that's where that went. This is where this is going, right?
Okay.
And so that's why I like using the Bible not
Yeah,
only because that's my knowledge base, but
right.
because it allows me to use the symbols to show the distinction between one and the
Yeah,
other. Right?
yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah,
So for the Jews at the time, the temple had become the symbol of we are the chosen. We are
right.
the fixed lot in the box, good
Mm,
guys.
yeah.
Because our God is true God. Right? When Jesus went and threw the money changers out of the temple, it was actually the area that they were in was what they call the court of the Gentiles. It's the forecourt, the front part, not the
Okay.
actual temple
Okay.
part.
Right, right.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting distinction to understand because um, if you think of that whole money changer thing, it was a kind of like a sense of the corruption of the temple itself, but it was a corruption that was occurring outside the temple,
Mm.
not within the actual temple itself.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So the temple was made up of two parts, the holy and the most holy.
Okay.
So it just gave the sense of there's something quite um, deep within this space, right? And
Yeah.
that's the symbol of it, right? The depth of
Okay.
it. Jesus comes along, says, you guys, with your teachings and your mindset and where you've got to now, have become corrupted in your mind. That's essentially what
Mm,
he's saying.
mm.
Take this stuff out, right? Take it away. So there were like multiple levels for that exchange. The first and the obvious was this idea of the corruption for uh, in relation to materialism. That's the very first level of looking at it, which is pretty obvious. Right? You've brought your materialistic thinking into a spiritual space. Remove it. Okay,
Okay.
that's the first bit. The second bit is a bit more esoteric, a bit deeper, which is um, the idea that um, the place where they're sacrificing is not going to be the place where they sacrifice, right? Because when they confronted him over this, his doing that, they challenged him, obviously, and said, what authority do you have to come along and boot all these people up and blah, 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 right? And that's when he just got, gloves off and just went full on with saying how corrupt they were, basically. Um, and he says, this temple effectively is going to be destroyed.
Right.
That's effectively what he was saying. So it was all part of that prediction that he gave in Matthew about the end times. Are you familiar
Yeah.
with them?
Well, I mean, not, of course I've, heard little thing, he kept saying in John, the last day, the last day,
Yeah.
the
So
last day. So,
effectively, so the account in Matthew about the end times was the apostles come up, or the disciples come up to him and say, when are these things going to happen? When is the system going to end? Right? And he starts it all off by saying, see that temple up there that all you guys are placing all your faith in? The day is coming when no stone will be left upon a stone. It will be gone. Right?
mm,
So that was the theme that he was trying to push through forward to them, and because they couldn't get it at the time, right? Because there
They
was
still
this,
don't get it. They still don't get it.
well, there was this physical monument, right? This
Which temple was
physical,
that? What was the name of that temple?
it was the Temple at Jerusalem.
And it's not there anymore?
No, it was destroyed by the Romans
Oh,
in
okay.
70 CE.
Like destroyed it.
Yep.
Didn't take it over and use it for anything.
No, they destroyed it. And the only thing that's left is the Wailing Wall. That's why they go and
Oh,
wail there.
oh, that's the Wailing Wall. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah.
So this is what Jesus was saying. That thing that you have been worshiping in and offering all your sacrifices up and the institution that you believe in, all of that is going.
Right.
That's effectively what he was saying. And the biggest institution that you believe in, your monetary institution, that's gone too.
Mm.
Right? Fast forward to today. Guess what?
Mm. Yeah.
The monetary institutions that we believe in are going.
The Rothschild banking system,
Everything. Right? Same with the
everything.
same with the religious systems. They're going.
Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
That's
Right.
what effectively what we're witnessing today.
Well, is this the New World Order?
Yes, but not the new world order that the elitists talk about. Right?
Oh,
This is the new
God
world order.
wins.
This is the new world order of the age of Aquarius
Yeah. Yeah.
energy. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Age of Aquarius. I know that we're in probably, I don't know how far along in it we are, if we're even in it yet. Um, I mean, what is your feeling about the belief that Jesus is the sun that's in the sky
Okay.
and his
So
12 disciples are the zodiac,
okay,
and
yeah.
that
So
he's he wasn't really a human that came and was sacrificed on the cross, and when he walks on water, that's the sun, how it shines on the top of the water, you know, that's
so
walking on what sun walking on water.
okay. So all form, including Jesus' body form, is not real. Right?
Was it perceived as real
Yes.
at that time?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I was alive at that time, I would witness him as a
Yeah.
man teaching everything he
Right.
was teaching
Yeah.
and brutally crucified the way he was,
Yes. Right.
like
Bearing
the
in
Passion of
mind,
Christ.
bearing in mind that form is not really there. The proof of which is all the quantum physics, right?
I think this is where I'm, because of the nervous system and that I could feel this.
Yeah.
And if I was whipped with spikes on leather and my back was torn open, that would hurt like hell.
Yeah.
That would be like he suffered the most painful thing any human being with a nervous system can suffer.
Yep.
So I never wanted to believe that that was real.
So
It is
it's
and
not
it
real.
isn't.
It's not real. That's the simple answer to it.
Oh God.
See, and so when you go there, when you go into that space, Francine, the universe, the cosmos is not real. It's a dream. This is the course.
Right. I know that's, yeah, I know that's the
So,
course.
so
Yeah.
that's where you end up going, right? But you have to go through the perception, all the perceptions of reality to unwind that from your mind first. right? You can't bypass it.
Yeah.
So you have to go into, oh, geez, it feels like it was real. Yeah, it feels like he really da da da. And then you go, sure, let's go there. Let's walk through that. Right? And the difference though is when you walk through it, the Course in Miracles way, is you're walking through it as an observer. That's the difference. So you are stepping off the screen of the movie. Okay, so there was a movie. It was called Jesus. Jesus gets crucified.
I I can't even observe that though.
Right.
It's not anything that I could ob- observe. It's it's horrific. It's torture, and I can't
So
reconcile this in my mind.
yeah. So it's not reconcilable. That's your first point.
Yeah, it's not.
It can't be reconciled.
No.
So you hear of people talking about A Course in Miracles being, for mystics and mysticism, right?
Yeah.
So my version of mysticism isn't mysticism about God, because many of the teachings out there is that God is unknowable, right? I say,
About you, right? It's about you.
well, so my first thing about that one is that God is knowable, but not knowable by us in this state. It's impossible for us in this state to know him because we're separated from him. By definition, that means we can't know him because we're separated, right? But in heaven, all there is knowing God. That's all there is, right?
In
How-
eternity.
Sorry?
In eternity. Is eternity and heaven the
Yes.
same?
Yeah.
And heaven is not a state of mind. It's an actual place,
Um,
right?
well, yeah, it's a place in your mind. So yeah, definitely definitely a state of mind. But when the
Like
concept,
if every single human on the planet did a course in miracles and devoted themselves to a course in miracles and saw that it was them and it was their projection and that we're all the Christ here to save each other and all that, and we all did it perfectly in a human body, and we kept living and multiplying and bringing more bodies, but teaching this from a very young age. Could this be heaven
no,
if we did that?
no,
No,
what would
no.
happen is this would disappear,
Oh,
because
huh.
if you were doing all those things,
Yeah.
you would effectively rejoin and not be separated from God.
Oh, wow.
This state over
Right.
here that we're in,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
cosmos, is a
Separation.
separation.
Okay.
If
Okay.
God is all there is, right? If
Yeah.
you start with the premise, so if God is all there is, then this cannot be. Because if this is, then that means that God, in God's mind, there can be suffering. In God's
Right.
mind, there can be cruelty. In God's mind, there can be guilt,
Right.
fear, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Right. And God is love.
God is
All
love.
right. Yeah. All right. So you basically have one of those experiences like, well, Dave Fair had one, and then that other guy who had one, The Disappearance of the World, he wrote the book, The
Yeah,
Disappearance of the World, right? he had one of those, but wound up back here again to, I guess, to help us wake up.
So the experience of that cannot be experienced through knowledge. Knowledge
No,
gets you to the launch pad.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
experience is one that occurs apart from knowledge, right?
yeah. In
And when I
prayer,
say
like,
and when I say
right,
knowledge, when I say knowledge, I mean knowledge of like intellectual knowledge, right?
right, 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 right.
The usefulness of knowledge in that sense, like the exercise that we're going through now, the usefulness of it is to create all the distinctions so that we are absolutely crystal clear on we are at the launch pad. Right?
Right, 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 right. That makes
Because
sense.
it's very easy to get confused and think we're at the launch pad when we're actually way over there, right?
Well, that ego keeps that, that ego
Yeah,
that doesn't want you
yeah.
at the launch pad ready to launch is going to keep pulling you back with more thoughts and questions. And I guess, all right, so now tell me about Jesus referring to Inky, right? Enki as the father.
Okay, just before that, I'll finish off the
Okay,
temple. Right?
okay,
So the point that Jesus was making was twofold. One, this thing here is going, right? Two, the temple is now going to be you, the body, and the
right.
kingdom within. That's where it's
Oh,
going to be, right?
okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
And a consequence of that, a corollary of that thought is you will no longer worship in a building, right? This is what he said to the woman at the well, the
Right.
Samaritan woman at the well.
Okay.
Won't be about worshiping on Jerusalem, won't be about worshiping in Mount Gerizim. It will be about worshiping in spirit and truth. That is the same thing as saying being authentic,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Internally,
mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
that's where your altar is now going to be.
Right.
And yeah,
Right. That. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because that is the Christ in you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's what that
Located where? Located in the heart center.
yeah,
Like, is it? It's not
yeah.
in the mind. It's more. It's that more the heart.
We'll call it the heart mind.
The heart mind. Right. I know. I should have known that. Should have known that. Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
the difficulty is in the translation between the cosmos and heaven is that we have to use cosmos, I call it the cosmos side, right? So you got the cosmos side, you got the heaven side. We have to explain heaven concepts using world cosmos concepts,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
heart, mind are labels, right? Labels that
Yeah.
put on those things so that we can kind of relate to them. Whereas in the fully enabled and aware mind, those labels and concepts disappear. There just is,
It just is. Yeah. Yeah.
right? That's it.
Yeah.
Full
Yeah.
abstraction. This is the thing the ego fears most. Full abstraction. Full abstraction is zero labels. Right?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Ego goes, I need a label. I need a label. I can't know this abstraction stuff.
Oh my God. Wow.
But spirit uses everything of where you are at. So it uses the labels to get you to the
Ye-
launch pad,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
to summarize that bit, what Jesus was saying, the physical stuff, it's gone, right? Where it's at is the kingdom is inside, is within.
Mm,
It's the
yeah.
kingdom of the Christ, that is you, the real one.
Mm,
And it is the kingdom within the heart and the mind.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? All right,
Yeah.
next one. Okay. Father, Inky, right? So this is the thing that really got me excited. Um, the reason why is because my 25-year ministry was as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Our
Yeah.
big deal, our big thing, our distinguishing brand, if you want to use that term, was the name Jehovah,
Mm, mm.
which was the Roman name for Yahweh.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So if there ever was a proponent for the demiurge message, it was me. That's what I was doing for 25 years. So so that's why it had a particular interest for me, because 2004 is two things happened. First thing that happened was I came away from that structured religious environment. Okay. It,
right.
it was a real box, I can tell you,
Yeah.
Francie.
No, I know. I
Box.
know. I wasn't there. But I know.
Yeah. So I
No,
came
it's a
away
cult. They talk
from that.
about a cult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
cult. A cult. Yeah.
Some people call it the cult of Yahweh.
No.
Man. So that was the first event for 2004. The second thing was that I got the course.
Thank God. God
Yes.
came and
Ah,
plucked you out.
totally. Totally.
Because he said, you're devoted. You have devotion, but it's in the wrong place.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I
Yep.
always had this even as a kid, I had this sort of belief in God. And it's what
Mm,
got me into my ministry. But
yeah.
when I realized that, hey, this is all sort of backwards, and then I exit it, um, then I get the course, and I go, oh my God, right? Stop
Wow.
pulling on that
Wow.
piece of string. All right.
Yeah.
So when I started to pull on the piece of string, so this is a little bit about my journey to
Yeah.
here,
Okay.
I went all over the place, like you. I
Yeah.
went down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. But it was kind of with my Bible background, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, naturally, I started to use the Bible as my kind of like benchmark bit of
Mm-hmm.
knowledge to compare
Mm-hmm.
what are these other things against, right?
Right.
And that's where I ended up on the Sumerian texts
Okay.
and the whole
That's
story
that's
of the
yeah. I
Anunnaki.
never read it, but well, is that's the Emerald Tablets, right?
It's so much. It's hard to stick it in a small box. It's
Okay.
really big. Um,
Wow. Okay.
but it took me years to sort of pick my way through that. But
Wow.
short version. So trying to answer your question and stick to the question.
Yeah. No, I like the learning.
Um, Short version was that when you read the Sumerian texts, you suddenly find that the Bible is actually, well, the Old Testament story is actually a condensed, shortened version of the Sumerian texts. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So when you read through the
Wow.
Sumerian text, you find all the characters that are talked about in the Bible. But
So, okay, okay. So is Yahweh Enlil?
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
See,
I
and
could totally see it.
Dan Winter refers to him as well. So, both Dan in that conversation with Dahlia, they both talked about Enki and also Enlil. Their conversation was mostly about Ningishidu, who was one of the sons of Enki, right? Toth,
Okay.
Toth.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Dahlia was referring to her experience of being Toth, not Enki.
All right. Yeah, but I know when it first came, I see what I sent you was a very recent
Oh,
video because
okay.
I said, you know what, let me go on Dan Winters and because this was like 2 years ago
Yeah.
that she was on his channel a lot.
Mm.
She's Egyptian and she was bringing
And
things out.
I'm the same as you. I'm I have to go through this material very carefully in my mind and basically ask for guidance around it because so much of it is psyops stuff, at the end of the day.
Thank you very much. See,
But so
yeah. And
I didn't have a problem with you saying, I'm not sure about this one. And because, I've had to go through that same question in my own mind as well for
that's
so
why I
much.
feel so good when you said that this, like, it's they're not psyop. They're not that you feel like that they're more telling the truth.
So, yeah, so it's all relative, right? Yeah. It's so I keep coming back to my favorite saying, it's all true.
Yeah.
Only
Uh,
the facts have been altered. Right? Which leaves you very free to do the discernment thing. And the discernment thing is actually a judgment or analysis based on your benchmark framework, right? So you take what you're hearing and you put it against whatever your background or benchmark or framework that you're working from. And you go like this and go, oh, yeah, it could be. Yeah, well, it's got a feel about it. Yeah. I can go with that. And it's kind of like that, right?
right,
I try not to get too much into black and whiteness on it, although there are some things that are, to me, pretty black and white. And I go, oh, no, I'm not going there. Not, not that one. But mostly I just try to observe it, let it come in, and then just put it through whatever filters are applying for me at the time.
right. So
So it's always a work in progress. Right.
yeah,
Coming back
yeah,
to the question at hand,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
I start to read these stories. I read the Sumerian texts. I start to piece those bits together against the actual Bible readings, right?
It's
And then
amazing.
and then we get Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. And I go,
Right,
oh, well, first of all, it says in the beginning, the Elohim, aka God singular, created the earth, the heavens and the earth, right? And then I realized that Elohim is plural, right? And then I realized when I read the Sumerian text that it really is plural. There's more characters, that are called the Elohim, right? They are kind of like, so they're not so much the creator of the heavens and the earth. When you go back into the texts, the actual text and the meanings of the words given, where it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, the word that's used, the Hebrew word is called Bereshit. Doesn't quite mean in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. What it means is, it doesn't mean in the beginning. It means when God was beginning his steps, then this happened and this happened and this happened, right? Or to put it in other words, the translation is now, when God started creating these things here, this is what happened. So it's not a story about the creation of the universe, let alone the creation of the planet. It is a story of the planet existing, the Elohim coming along onto the existing planet, observing its state and going through a process which science has said, yeah, that's the process of effectively terraforming.
Terraforming.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing now.
Yeah. So when you read the Sumerian texts, what you see is the earth is actually already developed. It's got animals on it. Yeah. And it's in a pristine state, more or less, right? Then they start geoengineering their cities onto it, right? That's the Anunnaki stories. So they built these cities starting in Iraq, in Iradu is the name that they gave it. And so we then in history have the history of the development of Mesopotamia, right? So Mesopotamia was the area starting in Iraq, heading up towards Turkey, then around and down into the area now known as Palestine, that whole area.
Yeah, there's a reason why they keep fighting over that stuff.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So you hit the nail on the head. There's some long ago history around those areas, including Iran. So,
The Anunnaki are still here?
no, their minions are.
Their minions are.
Yeah. So their minions are still operating under the dictate and the mandate that had been given. So coming back to the question, trying to say
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Genesis 1, Genesis 2 is the perfect contra statement of intent, right?
Right.
So as you know, Genesis 1 says, let us make man in our image. This is what the Elohim, plural, said. They make man in their image.
There. Yeah.
Yep. Then they get told, go forth, right?
Right.
And they get given the ultimate mandate. You are given dominion over the earth. That's the word, dominion. Right?
Right.
You're to have the animals and everything under your control. Dominion.
The human. Is this Adam and Eve? Is this?
The ones that were created at that point were given
Yeah.
dominion.
Right.
Right? So First of all, they were given dominion, and second of all, they were told from every tree and fruit you may eat, let it serve as your food.
Okay.
Okay, so two things given. One was dominion. You know what the other word for dominion is?
No.
Sovereignty.
Ah.
So
Huh.
Genesis 1, the starting point, the kickoff, the initiating mandate was you have full sovereignty over the earth.
And this was the Elohim, which is the Anunnaki,
Yeah,
Enlil and
specifically,
Inky.
specifically, it was Enki that gave that mandate
Inky.
because
Yeah, he was
he
the
was the
nice one.
one. So he was the one that was given the green light to produce mankind.
Right. So he's
Okay,
our father.
that's why he's called Father.
But he's not but there is a higher power over him.
Yes, yeah. So I'll come to that very quickly.
Okay. Okay. Well, no, whatever. Just don't turn into a pumpkin on me.
So, so the key point of this one, for me, Genesis 1, was you have dominion. You are sovereign. You are the boss of you. Okay? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Genesis 2, uh-oh, sorry, you're not the boss of you. I'm the boss of you. And you can't eat from every tree, right? You might have been told that you can eat from every tree, but you can't eat from this tree. Guess who said that one?
Enlil.
Enlil.
Yeah. Yeah.
You cannot eat from this fruit because when you eat from it, you're just going to be godlike like me. And I cannot have that. So you can't eat
And
from
what fruit? What was it? What was it really? The symbol is the tree and the fruit, but what
yeah.
was it?
My own take on this is just my sense of it was that it was a procedure, a process that Enki could undertake and grant them this expanded knowledge, this expanded um, ability. Right.
Huh. Huh.
So again, this is my take on it. Enki's version of it was that first of all, he was the one responsible for creating Adam and Eve. Their names weren't Adam and Eve. Their names were Adapa and Titi, according
Oh,
to the Sumerian text, right?
okay.
They were human version 0.1.
Mm.
There were multiple prototypes before that, right? Multiple prototypes on the way to create the human. The purpose of creating the human originally and why Enki got the green light from the boss Elohim was because they came to Earth to extract gold, right?
Yeah.
That was their whole purpose for being on the Earth.
Oh, and they made us as slaves.
And they created originally the
Yeah.
man to be the
Yeah.
worker, right? To
And
be
that's the Egypt. Is that Egypt? Is that like the whole slaves in Egypt?
no, way before
No.
the way before the
Oh, okay.
so
Okay. Wow.
the original instruction that so there was this thing called the Sky Council, right, of the Elohim. It's actually referred to in the Bible. The Sky Council was kind of like the governing body, the board, right?
Right.
The decision-making board. Originally, Enki was given the uh, the Boston. He was the boss of the whole project, right? The
Right.
gold extraction and everything. Later, that was taken away from him and given to Enlil, right? And that caused quite a lot of tension between their two different agenda and their different personalities. Fair to
Right.
say, Enki was kind of like your empowering type person. Enlil was your command and control type person. Yeah, neither good nor bad, but just that they were their different ways of looking at things. Enki, when he did the first prototypes, they worked and functioned up to a point. In other words, they were able to create these humanoid beings that could follow instructions and do the work. Go and dig that hole in there, bring that gold out, and give it to us. That animal was capable of doing that, had that understanding. However, the way they got the animal was by splicing and altering the genes of the ape. Right. So the base material was ape DNA. They altered it and adjusted it and created this obedient man servant. Right. The problem though was that model, as per the laws of genetics, kept reverting after so many generations. So they did get the model. Originally, the model couldn't procreate, right? Then they managed to get the model to procreate, but after multiple generations, just like flies that are hybridized, they revert back to the original state. So, in other words, they started giving birth to babies that were more ape than they were human, right? So the model worked, but it failed after a period of time. So Enki had to do some extra stuff to get a model that would stick. The extra stuff was the insertion of his own DNA into the model. Now that caused a huge ruckus, a huge ruckus. Enlil was just absolutely freaked out by that because Enlil was a purist in a sense, right? He just
Like the
absolutely,
elites. The
yeah,
elites are pure.
they're purists. And that's why they're purists, because they follow his dictates, right? And so basically, humans are unclean, right?
Right.
So now you understand why in the Ten Commandments is all about being clean, spiritually clean, because humans were unclean. And that's why they had to sacrifice, right? It's also why they had to pour out the blood, because from Enlil's perspective, the blood was contaminated. That's why he asked it back, right? Anyway, going back, um, Enki uses his own DNA, semen, semen, to mix into the genetic restructuring and gets Adapa and Titi, Adam and Eve. Well, Adam first, right? Adapa. Adapa is different from the previous prototypes. Adapa is smart, is able to learn, and he's able to hold that information, right? And he is called the first civilized man because he was able to learn civilization. So much so that when Enki showed Adapa to the other Elohim, they were absolutely impressed. this was an incredible creation, he had all the markings of what they were, right? He never told them how he got that.
Right.
It
Right.
was a secret. And Adapa ended up getting taken back to their home planet called Nibiru, right? And they were going to give him immortality, which they were able to um, technologically do, right? Um, so one of the features of the Anunnaki was that they had longevity, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah, so
Achieved.
they're the ones in the Bible that live to 1,000 years, and right, like
Well,
eight
using
hundred years.
that gene structure, right? It changed after the flood, but using that gene structure, they lived long periods of time. The Anunnaki, the pure Anunnaki, lived for hundreds of thousands of years, right? And were even able to achieve immortality. And you hear bits of that in the Old Testament. Do this and I'll grant you life. Right? Supposedly, a number of the prophets ended up getting taken away and given this. Anyway, long story short, Adapa impresses them. They're thinking about giving in immortality because they're so impressed with what Enki has done. Enki, in the meantime, had told Adapa not to go for that. What you realize is that Enki had set up the tree of knowledge and the tree of life as the mechanism to grant him immortality, right?
Okay.
That's what, and it was going to be through a learning process over a period of time.
Right.
So effectively, what it came down to was learning morality. That's what the tree of knowledge and good and bad was, learning morality. So
Okay.
you could have all this technical knowledge, but for it to be truly wise, you needed to have this moral education as well. That was the tree of knowledge and good and bad. That was the bit that was missing in the offer for immortality. Right? That makes sense. So
Okay.
you're making
Yeah.
someone that had no sense of morality. Imagine that.
Right. 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 Okay.
Essentially you're creating a monster for forever because
Yeah. Yeah.
there's no moral
Right.
thing.
Which is seems like what they did anyway.
So
A lot of
coming back,
monsters.
well, so coming back to Enlil, Enlil eventually learns what Enki had done, and he's just absolutely aghast horror, right? He can't believe it. Now, technically and probably substantively, Enki had kind of fiddled with the law. He'd kind of created a workaround of the law. So, not strictly according to the law by altering the DNA and by inserting his DNA, right?
Right.
That it seems, my sense of it is that that was a breach of at least their laws,
Right.
right? His justification for it was, well, we we, we need workers, but we can't just have dumb animal workers. Right?
Right.
We need them to have a few clues so that they're able to be empowered. That's effectively the
Mm.
argument, right? Which is, you know, how things are now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Civilizations advance and grow when they're empowered.
Mm.
They cease growing when they stop from being empowered, right? When they can't learn, when they can't progress, when they can't grow. So Enlil, being you know, when you look at his character, first of all, it was you would describe it as command and control,
Mm, mm. Yeah.
black and white, um, and kind of pious,
Mm,
right? So, you have to do things right, the right way,
mm,
not the right thing, the right way. You know
mm,
the difference? Yeah, you get people who are focused on doing things the right way, and you get people that are just focused on doing the right thing, the wrong,
mm.
the wrong, might be the wrong way, might be, not what you're supposed to do, but it still works out being the right thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the difference between those two. Inky
Wow.
was kind of like focused on because he was a thinking person. He was
Yeah.
considered very wise, right?
Yeah.
And so how that wisdom was expressed and was to focus on doing the right thing.
Right.
Enlil was very rules based,
Right.
hence the Ten Commandments, rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
In his world,
Yeah.
rules are what get you there, right? If you obey the rules, stick to the rules, you get there, right?
Right.
So when Enki did what he did, that basically sort of got up Enlil's nose because he thought, he's broken the law. That therefore makes everything wrong. These people
Yeah.
are wrong. These people are inferior. These people are no good because they've got our blood in there and that's not supposed to be in there. And that's a breach of the law and blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
When you read through the Old Testament, you actually see this really legalistic approach that he took. I mean, to say the Ten Commandments, the law, is a perfect example of that legalistic approach. When you read Genesis chapter 2, you also see the legalistic approach. And I'll explain that. So Enlil, Enki, when he sort of went back to the big council in the sky, he had to explain himself. What the hell are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Enlil's told us you went and inserted your DNA and blah blah blah. And then Enki goes, yeah, yeah, okay, okay, you got me. I, I did it wrong, but I did it to do the right thing. And the
Yeah.
reason why I did it is because you really need sort of workers that know what they're doing and are able to
Yeah.
run themselves. Otherwise, we're going to be over the top of them all the time, and it's going to wear us out.
Yeah.
Okay, this type of person can be way more productive, right?
Yeah.
Way more productive than just a bunch of human
Yeah.
robots,
Right.
which made total sense. And he got the big council in the sky on side. So they kind of
Wow.
signed off on Enki's sort of project, right?
Okay.
I call it Project Me. So they kind of went, okay, you go and make more of those ones because that's going to get us. It's going to,
Productivity. Going to get us
productivity.
more gold.
Yeah. So we're on board. So they signed
Huh?
off,
Wow.
but Enlil was the CEO,
Oh, shit.
and he
Oh
thought,
my God.
"Bugger you, I'm not signing off." So he goes and cuts across the sign off and goes to Adapa and Titi. See that tree over there? It's off out of bounds for you. You can't have that. If you eat it, you're gonna die. Right? So effectively, he cut across. a mandate that had been signed off by the Sky Council supporting Enki's way forward. Enlil's way forward was, I will tell you what's good and bad for you. You will follow me, no questions. Obedience to what I tell you is the way forward. Right?
You
So,
will have no other gods.
yep, no listening to that guy over there, Enki. No listening to the Sky Council. I'm the one. Right? So that's where you see it. That's where you see his command and control and the legalistic approach that he took reflected in the Ten Commandments later on. Okay, back to the Garden of Eden.
Wow.
Enki goes, oh bugger, how am I going to get around this one? So he goes to Eve and he says to Eve, you know, you can eat of that fruit. It's actually okay. And if you eat of it, you're going to know good and bad for yourself. You're going to be able to learn morality for yourself, right? And you won't die. Okay? That was what was recorded as what the serpent said. Okay? Serpent was Enki. The way the story is written and retranslated in the Bible, it says that the serpent was cunning and deceived Eve, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when you read the actual word, in the meaning of the word, it says the serpent was wise.
Yes, I heard that. I heard that.
And the wisdom of it was you need to be your own boss as the mandate that was given to you before.
Wow.
That mandate was given you. What's happening is this thing here is trying to squish your mandate, right? It's saying you're not your boss anymore. You're under whatever Enlil says, right? So when Eve ate of the fruit, here's the other legalistic point. It was Adam that was told, you cannot eat of this fruit, right?
All right. Yeah.
It was Adam. And that was some time previously. Eve wasn't even around. She hadn't been created at that point.
Wow. Wow.
Then she gets created or gets made, right? And it was after that the serpent speaks to her and says, you can actually eat of this fruit. She knew of the rule. She knew of the rule.
Right. Right.
But she'd been told the rule by Adam. She hadn't been told by Enlil, or Yahweh. That's a really, really important legal point. What she was told by Adam is what they call hearsay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she wasn't actually bound by it because the commandment wasn't laid upon her by Enlil, by Yahweh. Yahweh was the one who had the authority to lay the command, seemingly, right?
Right.
Adam hadn't been given that authority. Yeah, Yahweh didn't say to Adam, and I give you the authority over the woman to command
Right.
her.
Right.
Okay? So when she ate the fruit, and Enki knew this, the serpent knew this, right? That's why he picked on her and not on him, right? He knew that she
Yeah.
was free to choose, right?
Yeah.
So when she ate the fruit, she thought, oh, I'm still here. I haven't dropped dead, right? The serpent had told the truth. She didn't die. She was told that in the day of her eating it, she would die.
Right.
She didn't drop dead that day.
Right.
Just the opposite. In that day, she got to know she was naked.
Oh,
That's how you know that the time period of a day was a 24-hour time period. A lot of scholars say, oh no, it was 1,000 years, and it took 1,000 years for her to die.
oh,
So they try and twist the meaning of a day so that she died within the day, right?
right. Oh, wow. Wow.
Very, very tricky. So
Yeah.
she didn't die. She goes, oh my goodness, here, husband, eat this. It's all good. I know stuff. I know stuff. I know it's all good. So he eats it, right? Technically speaking, he is the one that broke the law.
Right. Right.
Commandment was laid upon him, right?
Yeah.
He ate it, therefore he broke it. So technically, he was guilty of breaking the law. However, a couple of things. First, the punishment that was meted out by Yahweh, by Enlil, on the woman was not justified.
Mm-hmm.
He was not
Mm-hmm.
entitled to punish her like that on the
Mm.
basis that it was hearsay. The only basis that legally that he could say she was guilty was a thing called absolute liability. This is a legal term, right?
Mm.
So when a law is passed and the law is absolute liability law, what that means is you don't even have to know that it exists, right? So, for example,
Wow.
uh, if a law is passed that says you may not enter this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you enter it, you're guilty of breaching that law, right?
And you don't
Whether,
even know the law exists.
whether or not you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
The mere fact of you entering it, that means you've broken it.
Mm. Mm.
Absolute liability is a very, very special application of law, which is, for want of a word, draconian. It's
Ah.
super harsh.
Mm.
The reason why, as a matter of public policy, uh, absolute liability is permitted is because it's used for places like mining companies, right? So a mining company is told you must keep the environment clean and you must not pollute the environment or allow anything bad to happen in the environment. If anything does happen, you are liable, whether the people that did it know the law or don't know the law. You're going
Right.
to be liable.
Right.
So what that does is it puts the mining company on notice to make damn sure that everybody that works for them knows you cannot do
Yeah.
this, right?
Right. Right.
And so they have to put into place all their compliance programs, their compliance teaching, health and safety, all that stuff. They have to have all this documentation to support. Yeah, we've got everything under control to make sure that our people do not do that, right?
Right.
Then, if you have all that done, then you can have absolute liability.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have
Yeah.
that kind of regime or environment or setup beforehand. Well,
Right.
none of that was there.
Right.
Wasn't
Right.
recorded. Yeah, Adam wasn't told, and you have to make damn sure that she obeys that law, and you have to do
Right.
this, you have to do that. And, it
But
was
they were
just
treated as if they were treated very
so
harshly.
very, very harsh. Absolute liability is a very, very harsh. The background meaning of Draco is dragon.
Yeah, they say that there were dragons here.
So Enlil, apparently, by all accounts, was a Draco
A dragon.
by his mother.
But but when they say a dragon, do they mean like
Reptilian. Reptilian.
so human features, like
Yeah.
a body, a head, arms, legs, but more reptilian like.
From a lizard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know the Adam Cardman model, right? You heard of
I've
that?
seen pictures.
So
I don't
the
know that particular model, no.
Okay, so the Adam Cadman model is your typical bipedal, two arms, two legs, a head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's called the Adam Cadman model. And
Okay.
supposedly it is the model of this galaxy. All creation tends to follow that model. So if you get an ape, the model that it follows will be bipedal with a head, two hands, and a trunk, right? It won't be like it won't have eight arms like a octopus.
Right. Right.
If you've got a octopus as your base, it will have two arms, two legs, and a head, which may have tentacles, but it will be bipedal by two arms and a head, right? It'll follow
Wow.
the Adam Cadman model.
Okay.
If it's a lion, right, like lions, for example, it'll have two arms, two legs, and a head that looks like a lion. You get the pattern?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, a bird like a chicken has two legs, no arms, and a head.
so we're talking about the evolved models. So
Oh,
got a planet that's full of chickens, right? And they evolve, right, following the evolutionary model of this galaxy. And they evolve into the Adam Cadman model, which is a chicken head, two arms, two legs, and a torso. Right? That's how it works, apparently, in our galaxy. Right? That's the model that's used, the template that's used against whatever um, entity evolves in that environment.
so Thoth has a bird head, right? Thoth. Is that a symbolism or is that what he really looked like?
Um, so apparently they are shape shifters and able to change their shapes. I don't know that, but that's the story.
That's the
Um,
story. Yes, I've heard it.
and
Yes.
and so it wouldn't be unusual for them to take on particular forms for people to worship them under those characteristics, right? So
This
so
is
what I'm
very
saying
deep.
is, yeah, it's very so what I'm saying is, the shape-shifting forms have an original form, and so the Anunnaki had, like humans, have different versions, right? Um, in Enlil's case, his mother comes from the constellation we call Draco
Right.
in the
Yeah.
sky, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that group is basically reptilian dragon, right? His mother was that. And so when he
So
was
he's not pure. What's his problem?
no pure Anunnaki, not
So reptilians are Anunnaki?
yeah, those ones.
Oh, so the reptilians are Anunnaki?
Those particular reptilians are. So, like I said, there are versions of Anunnaki, right?
Oh.
Including
I,
Draco.
I didn't know that.
Apparently. So, yeah,
Okay, and
I don't
then
know.
what about
This is what I
Enlil?
read.
Now, what about Enki?
Enki, different. He's
No,
more
but I think
so
he's more what?
they're half brothers, right? Same father, Anu, different mothers, right? So
Okay.
uh, Enki is from a different mother who is more like this human form, right? So anyway, uh,
So Enlil was jealous.
yeah, pretty much. That's why he's called a jealous god. I am a jealous god. When you really look into his character, there was a lot of flaws. There was a lot of good stuff in the sense of, he was for righteousness and, piousness and, being top of the top type thing. But he also had these flaws where, to him, those humans are, let's get rid of them. Let's let the flood kill them off. And
Well, he definitely did some really bad things.
oh, when you read the account of the Israelites entering into the land of Canaan, Joshua, and the things that he was told to do, he was told to go and wipe out those people over there, um,
And keep the children for
kill them.
themselves. For
Well,
themselves.
yeah, in that case, yes, but there are other cases where he says, take the babies, smash their heads against the rocks.
Yeah, see, no, he doesn't have any I'm sorry. That is a null and void empty shell.
So it's the same way that we would go and smash a mound of termites, you know, get a flamethrower and burn all the termites in there as they all scurried around. It's that same type of mentality where
Guess so. Yeah.
they're just a pest. That was his attitude towards humans. When he got given a bunch of them, called the Israelites, he was really tough on them, like really tough. You break this law, that's it. You're gone. Yeah,
Wow.
I have to
So
keep
how are
chastising.
we dreaming this then if all of that really if
Ah,
all of
good
that
point.
happened?
Very good point. So, when you regress all the actions, they come back to a couple of key themes. And the themes are guilt and fear, right? So, thinking about Enlil, I fear that they will go and worship someone else instead of me.
Right.
Therefore, I have to chastise them to keep them in line. Otherwise, they're going to go off and start worshiping all these other ones, which is what they did. It's exactly what they did. And it's why
He
he kept,
he projected it out and his projection
yes,
came true.
bang on, bang on. See, and when you read about his background, there's some events in his life that kind of made him feel really bad and really guilty. And so you can see that same idea from the Course in Miracles, where the son thought he did something wrong, and he thought he had to leave, and he thought he then had to make good, right? That's Enlil. He was constantly trying to make good before his father, Anu.
Okay.
Otherwise he was going to get punished. And guess what? That's exactly what's happened. So if you follow the story about where he is now, he's being punished.
Oh, is he the one? Is he the one that's chained to the pit in? Is he the one
Well,
that's chained?
so that's how it's described. He's actually on a prison planet.
Really?
Yeah. It's closer to the idea of Nebuchadnezzar when he went mad and started running around eating grass.
I don't. I know that name, but I don't know the story.
Yeah, so that's the story in the Bible. So Nebuchadnezzar was the one that destroyed Jerusalem 1.0, the first Jerusalem, the temple.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and he got a bit haughty and proud. And
Okay.
so as a result, he was humbled and he turned mad, lost his mind, and ended up running around in the field eating grass like an animal,
Wow. Wow.
which is a very interesting metaphor parallel to Enlil because
Okay.
he was very proud.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
his thing, being very, very proud, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but to the way that he did it, he did get very haughty.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so to me, to answer your other question, he was the one behind the Book of Revelation,
Enlil.
Enlil. So when you read the Book of Revelation, by the way, all of this, everything I'm telling you, is actually in my book.
Oh, I'd
The
rather
whole way
hear it from
down.
you. Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it's easier if I tell it to you because you got to wade through all the stuff in my book. But this is the shortcut version, right? So the
Yeah.
Book of Revelation, which is in the New Testament, which supposedly is about Jesus' messages, right?
Yeah.
Well, you read um, the Gospels, Jesus' messages. You read the Acts of the Apostles, Jesus' messages. You read the Book of Revelation. Hello, not even now, not even. Not, the messages suddenly disappear, and you're in a whole new thing.
Wow.
The Book of
Wow.
Revelation is nothing like what Jesus' messages were, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely
Yeah.
different book.
Right. 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 I know bits and pieces. Like I
Yeah.
don't know this
Well,
cat.
so the main theme of the Book of Revelation is Armageddon and the genocide of mankind.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Where's the
Yes.
Jesus story in that one?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Where is it? Where is it? Beast with seven heads and all
Yeah,
kinds of
yeah,
crazy nonsense.
all that crazy stuff. Yeah, and it starts off with the seven congregations, right? It's so how I describe it in the book is like the angel lines them up a bit like the way the stormtroopers line up the villages, and the angel walks past them and goes, "Yep, you're good. You lot,
Uh-huh.
yeah, you need to do more. Hey, you lot, no, you're out of here, man." It's like that. That's how it
Wow.
starts. Like there's this big beat up on
Wow.
congregations.
You think it happened already? Revelation? Like it happened
Uh,
already?
so okay, we're into my next thing, which is I think we've had a timeline shift,
Uh,
and we're not on that timeline anymore. So I believe there
oh,
is a version of history where that happened, where it went down that path. but
Okay.
we're not on that one. Yeah, that's the good news, actually. So that's why in my book, I have no qualms or hesitance about calling it all bullshit. Yeah, if
This
people
is,
read my book, they're gonna go, "Oh my God, he's gonna get shot."
they better not.
So, well, as I said, I think we're on a different timeline. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Well, it seems like they're playing like CERN. CERN must have something to do
yes,
with,
yes, yeah, yeah. I think that's what
and
happened.
would it be would it be the and Enlil's minions? Like there's you, so you know the whole thing about the white hats and the
Yeah.
and all of that. So
So the black
who
hats are still operating, right? They're still in control. The elites are still in control and have been for a long time. But their control and the control mechanisms are being dismantled as we speak.
by
So
who
the white hats,
and who would that be?
okay, two different parts to it. There's the humans parts, which are the various armed forces that are on side with that agenda. So you actually have literal armed forces that are doing that, um, that are kind of like, how can I describe it? Uh, Factions is the best way I can describe it. So there are factions within the armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, that are working to unwind, undo the control mechanisms. And we are seeing, if you know and you understand, we are seeing those mechanisms being dismantled, right? Not without a big fight. This whole conflict in the Ukraine and in the Middle East, Iran and Israel, the the actual outcome of that is dismantling the system, right? So if you look underneath the layers that appear on top, Trump is actually getting what he wanted. He wanted to get out of the Middle East. He wanted to get out of Ukraine, right? Ironically, with all the bases being destroyed, that's what's going to happen. They're going to withdraw from the Middle East. They have no other option. The bases are all being destroyed.
That's pretty amazing. I'm gonna connect you. I'm gonna send you. There's this woman on Facebook. Her name is Lisa. Do you follow gematria and all that kind of stuff?
Yep. Well, I have done numerology, whole nine yards, tarot.
It's Jesus.
So,
Her son, her real biological son, is Jesus reincarnated.
okay.
And um I'm gonna send you one of her posts. I'm gonna send it to you through Messenger.
Right.
This woman is amazing. And she also said that Trump is her uncle.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. Um, my connection's going all weird at the moment, Francine. So, might have
I
to,
think, oh, you're back.
yeah. So my connection's going all weird at the moment. Maybe it's
Yeah,
because something,
because I'm speaking the truth.
You're right. So we're
I
at a
am fascinated with this woman. You've got to check out her page. Just scroll down, watch her videos, and very, very well. She's saying that something is going to happen in the United States, like a pole shift.
yeah.
So I might not be here for very long.
So again, there is just so much to unpack in these sessions, right? I've only got 2 questions done. So this is, I haven't even
She's
got to
she's
the,
saying, she's saying like, leave the United States, leave, get out. And I'm like, where am I going to go?
yeah.
I just,
So
I have to, I have to literally just, if that's if that is where I am, that's where I am. When it happens, you know what I can't
um,
get myself sick over it.
over 1 million elitists wanted to come to New Zealand
Really.
because we're so far away.
Well, I was going to ask you, with that star over where you live, that might be some type of protection thing.
Could be, yeah. One bit I forgot to mention, one of the things that showed up on it was right at the base of the star. It turns out because I ended up finding a map about the planetary points that are highlighted by the halls of Amenti. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
I've heard of it.
So there is a point at the base of the star, right exactly at the base of the star, exactly where I drew the point. Um, there's a portal there. It's called a Trinity Stargate portal,
Wow.
right on that point.
Wow.
And I didn't find that until just recently. I think it was about a year and a half ago. I first drew the thing in 2004. So this is all the stuff that came to me when
Wow.
I exited from, the religious structure. It all started piling in.
Yeah. It's really fascinating. I'm totally fascinated with this. And
But
I
as I
really,
said, Francine, it's incredible. It's great to acquire that understanding and knowledge, but the thing I've found is it's the purpose for which we are acquiring it, right? So it needs to be about going to a specific point, a specific destination. Otherwise, it just becomes knowledge for the sake of knowledge and knowledge for curiosity, right? It's not actually fulfilling the the underlying mandate that we have, which is to become ourselves. Right? You gotta take that knowledge somewhere. It's really what I'm saying.
well, if I'm, if something is going to happen here, um, and I'm, I don't know how to die properly. Like Dan Winter explains, if we die a certain way in bliss, and then how do I achieve bliss? So I die in bliss, and then I'm not reincarnated back into the system. If I'm reincarnated back into the system, then I'll be back here for another lifetime, starting from scratch.
So this
And
is the whole point of the course, is to get you into that state where you are on the path, the Dharma versus the karma, where you have to keep repeating it. I think of the
mm,
Dharma as the path out of Dodge,
yeah,
right? It's the one that gets
yeah,
you out of Dodge. So that's the point
yeah.
of, right? That's the point of all that knowledge and all that information gathering, is to find the path that's going to get you out, first of all, into that state of bliss, and second, out of Dodge. So, when you kind of simplify it down into those two essential objectives, it becomes much easier because, the question you ask yourself is this helping me get to there or not? Right?
Right. But then my question is, where's there? Because if there is draconians out there and there is other things out there, and if they're not all good, it's like, wow, what happened? Like we don't know anything.
Yeah. So, my take on it for now is it's there as part of the ascension process, right? So the ascension process is a couple of clicks above where we are now, so to speak, is a way of thinking about it. You're not there, but you're definitely not here, right? That's how I think of it. Let's
Yeah.
just take the little steps
Yeah.
to get up to the big one, right?
Yeah.
Some people talk about the seven heavens and the seven levels of heaven, and the lower astral, the higher astral. Put a label on it, whatever label fits, right?
No
It,
more
it, does,
labels.
it doesn't matter what label you put on it. It's the intention and your desire to come back to yourself. That's what it is for me, anyway. That was what's
Yeah.
my whole journey.
Yeah. It's beautiful.